Hi, this is Robert Wells and a Tutorial Tuesday, and today, well, I started off, I was actually going to do a painting of Kiara reclining in her usual sleepy type position, but she's not feeling too well, so I managed to do a little sketch of her, and I've let her get off to bed because she's really not feeling too great at all. So this is what I'm going to be working from. I don't know if you can sort of zoom in on that. It's a little sketch I did this morning, and I think captures her quite well. I don't really need any more information than that. It's partly from memory. She's got a lovely green blanket, which is this one that she often has when we go to the South Downs. She was sort of draped in that, and also the other thing to sort of bear in mind with this being black and white, that she was surrounded by this really horrible manky pillow that she takes with her everywhere, which is referred to as the bellow pillow. That's it. So it's great when you turn up at a nice posh hotel and she'd have that slung under her arm, looking like well, I'm not going to say what she looks like, but anyway, so that's that. Talking about the other day destroying paintings and when they've been naughty. So this is one in question. I got fed up with it. It was a Telegraph poll. It was on my Instagram account, or I think it still is, but it's no longer a painting. So I'm just counting down the time until somebody asks if it's still for sale. Now it's been technically mullered, but it will act as a base for this painting. I'm not sure how the under surface will react to it, but we'll have to just wing that as we go along. So I shall balance that on there somewhere. No, I won't, because it's not going to stand up. And crack on. Okay, this is the basic set of paints that I'm using, scattered all over the place, no real order. I understand that greens and reds are in short supply and getting quite expensive at the moment, so I'm using a green Cranfield one, which is superb quality, and we'll be stocking that at some point in Luca's online store. So this is the surface of the previous painting. It's actually relatively smooth. It's only a bit of MDF that's been painted over and scratched back and messed about with. This is the drawing of Kiara. And the first thing is to get your proportions and your balance, where you're going to put a lovely little head. Is it going to go up here, down here, blah blah blah. So I think we'll put her kind of up here somewhere towards the top of the painting. It's really trial and error at this stage to see if anything works, what's going to work, what isn't going to work. There's this manky pillow that comes into play. That's too square as a face, so return that a bit. I think with these, there's always a danger that you start fiddling about with it from day one. I can almost feel I'm doing that now because I'm not really very warmed up, so I'm going to resist the temptation of dicking about with stuff and really just try to crack on. So we've got this arm folded round the manky pillow, our bellow pillow as we call it. We've got a hand that's usually clasped tight to her face for reasons best known to her while she's sleeping. Maybe she's thinks someone's going to come in and steal her money or something, I don't know. But anyway. And proportionally, things are normally hanging off the end of the bed before too long, so we'll have something. She had a stripy pillow there, which I've just remember looking at, but I'm not sure I'm going to put that in yet. It might be a bit distracting with all the stripes. So there's going to be 2 blocks of white, which before I start adding any colour to this, it might be an idea if I put that in first. Where's my cloth gone? Everything falls apart in this place. Right. I usually mix the paint with white spirit, which I don't think I know anybody else who does that, and I think the reason I do it is because when I first started nobody said don't do it, so I've always used it. I don't see any problem with it. I'm sure somebody will write to me and tell me the error of my ways and I should be using linseed this or that special doodah, but I'm not bothered. So the reason I put the white in there is to just give us an idea of how proportions start to work. So if I throw a bit of the green in as well, let's see where her arm is. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's just, got a problem with my wrist at the minute, so I just keep using both hands when I can. Right, there's also, oops, I keep saying there's also, so I'm going to have to stop saying that. There's a curtain in a room, and that might just break the balance up a little bit. There's also a larger, oh, I've done it again. There was a pillow sticking up at the top, up here, so I'm just going to mark that in. When I can, sometimes I leave the underpainting still visible, and there's nothing stopping you from going back and breaking these shapes up a little bit using a knife, because it's only going to add to texture and variation, which give the thing a little bit of life and stop you worrying so much about composition and so on that you forget to actually paint the thing. So it's good to just go at it and not be so precious and not worry. It's only a painting at the end of the day. It's not going to do anything bad to you, possibly. Right, well, she's kind of, I can see a bit of Chiara creeping through there. I don't know how you can creep through in a painting, but I get a bit of it. She of course spends approximately 90% of her life actually laid in this position. That's a bit unfair because sometimes she's actually on a phone, so she's not just doing nothing, she's looking after her all important calendar of events. Now, the reason I'm putting a bit more of the white in now is to give a little bit more contrast, but also some strength to the painting. I also want to see the relationship of her with this blanket. Right, okay, well, we're a bit closer. I think I look like I've just poked her eye out a little bit, but I'm sure she'll forgive me. Right. How's it shaping up, Tonto?
Looking very nice.
Oh God, that's always a bad sign when you like something. Might have to get the drill out. When putting faces in, you can see that I've just put a mark in for the eye then. You can always amend it by constantly bringing paint up to it and taking paint away from it. The eyes are very difficult in situations like this because they're almost unreadable and yet at the same time absolutely crucial. So that shape that I got quite nicely there, I will have to get it in at some point, even if it's at a later stage. I'm just being aware of the fact that there's that lovely curvature of the head and how the nose looks quite elongated from this side. You imagine the head as a sort of sphere and then it's kind of gone all lopsided and the weight of it's pushing down sideways. I'm not saying she's fat before anybody says anything, because she's not, but it's that kind of sense of volume changing the face's direction. Right. There's a funny bit of bed carcass frame down at the bottom. Just put him in, which will help solidify some of the shapes. It kind of, from what I remember, broke into this white a bit here. I don't like resolving stuff too early, and at the end of the day, even if I don't like what I've done today, I can come back and chop through it tomorrow. I've decided that I'm not going to concentrate exactly on the shapes that she had on that one. I don't think it's particularly helping in this stage. I just thought the painting was getting a tad on the dark side, mainly because of the colours resonating from underneath. I like to make sure that what I'm trying to achieve is a nice colour balance that I've got in my mind, rather than necessarily what's coming out in front of me. With regards to her plum jumper, the way around that is to just I'll add a bit of red to it, leave it for a bit, come back, add a bit of blue to it, and keep going until you get a really nice deep colour. Now that might happen right at the beginning, or it might not, so you just keep working on that. Not too bothered about getting any huge amounts of detail into the thing. She's got a thumb there. Oh yeah, that's right, she's got it almost looks like she's going to swallow her hand. Strange child. What next? Oh yes, so there's a little posy of flowers. Which we brought back from our trip to Leeds.
What's that, Clemmy?
Little trick with doing things like this is when you've put your lines on, if you're not quite sure about them, there's nothing stopping you from coming back and adding texture actually into the paint, rather than taking the paint completely away. So in this case, I want to get some sort of shadow. Can't really see it on that because it's turned into a completely different painting now. But I do remember there were some shadows on that back side of it. Don't try to be too perfect with it, and I'm certainly not too concerned if I feel I have to come back and change things. If you were a writer or a poet or something, you could spend days and weeks and months worrying about one line or one word, or I think it must be a tremendously difficult job. At least with this, we've only got sort of a bit of paint to throw on, and it can be whatever it wants to be, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer to it. So I'm not bothered about trying to be perfect and come up with a wonderful painting just because I'm desperate to do so. Another little thing to bear in mind, just small details of things. I haven't touched the head in that position, and also there's bits of paint around it which are resonating from underneath. A lot of those things I don't really want to remove, because they will form sort of integral part of the texturing. So it's quite nice not to get over fiddly and remove some of these nice elements to it. There's times when you might decide there's a necessity to bring things together, lines together or space together, but it's getting variations that ultimately might make the painting interesting. So for example there, I've had to come into the shape of the face and the arm, almost as if the cover is enveloping part of a body shape. You can also soften the lines a little bit using the trusty knife. One other thing in Chiara's bedroom, I think it's one of the last things that I'm going to do now, is that there are little pockets of red here and there in the room, and there's no bad thing just adding little bits in it to see how it works. You see, that's lifted it straight away, so not a bad shape. Well, I think I shall pretty much leave it now. There's a little spike of white there which is annoying me. I think it does need another layer of something at the end. I don't think it's going to be much, and I'm certainly not going to go against what I've just been saying and muck about with it until it drives me insane, because I don't tend to do that very much nowadays, due to the fact that I get very impatient with them. So I might just add a bit more strength to that. This will lighten up a little bit as well, I think, later, but that will probably be better being left for now, so it just dries off a bit. Okay, I guess that'll do for today. I hope that's been of some use. I can never tell if it is or not, so right, I've been staring at it for a couple of minutes. I'm pretty sure that I ain't going to touch it. Certainly not today. Might have another go tomorrow, or I might not. It's not going to go in the naughty corner, I don't think, so it's certainly got a reprieve from what it was last time. Not too bad.